Hey everyone, and welcome to my simple morning routine. My mornings begin each day at about 7:30 a.m. and the first thing I'll do is to get up in bed and stretch a bit to remove any stiffness from the previous night. Then I'll drink a few sips of water to get some hydration in right at the start of my day. And then get out of bed, put on my cozy wool slippers, and then open the blinds to start my day. Even though it can be quite gloomy and rainy at this time of year, I still like opening up the blinds and letting in the natural light because it helps me to wake up and it keeps my plants alive. And right after getting up, one of the first things that I like to do is make my bed in the morning. Like opening up my blinds, this is one of those daily habits that helps me feel more prepared and ready for the day. Plus, I love the feeling of being able to return to a nicely made bed at night. Once the bed is made, I'll quickly drape the throw blanket I sleep with over the bed and then head to the bathroom to get ready. Naturally, the first thing that I'll do is quickly go to the bathroom and then wash my hands and my face. I find that my skin does best when I just wash my face with soap, water, and dry it off using a soft towel. Then I'll put on a daily moisturizer to freshen up my face, which is especially important during these dry winter months. After that, I'll brush my teeth, and I always like to follow these habits in a bit of a sequence, so it helps me to remember to do them each day. By sequencing and stringing habits together in this way, it helps to ensure that I remember to do all of them without forgetting any. And the last personal hygiene thing that I'll do is just to put on some deodorant. Then I'll go to my closet and pick up my clothes for the day. Since I work from home full time, my main emphasis is on finding clothes that are comfortable yet still presentable. So usually what this looks like for me is a cozy sweater and then comfortable leggings or jeans. On this day, I went with a pair of high-waisted black leggings and my favorite almond alpaca sweater. And not to be forgotten is a pair of cozy socks. I love these speckled merino wool ones. And once I'm dressed, I'll next move on to doing my hair and makeup. And even though I do spend most of my days at home, I always like to put on a little bit of makeup each day. It's a really soothing ritual for me, and it does help me to feel a little bit more presentable and awake too. I do like to keep things simple though, and on days where I'm not going out, I'll just put on a little bit of concealer, brow balm, eyeliner, and mascara. It's a simple routine, but one that I really enjoy. And finally, I'll move on to doing my hair. On days where I'm not feeling like putting a ton of effort into my hair, I'll just put my hair up in a bun quickly, pull out the baby hairs, which inevitably will come loose, and then tie it in a quick bandana. But once I'm fully dressed and ready for the day, I'll move on to the kitchen to begin the second part of my morning routine. The first thing that I'll do pretty much without fail on these cold winter mornings is to fill up my kettle full of hot water and make a tea. I'm also a big fan of tea lattes, so I'll often steam some oat milk to go with it. But once I've put the water on to boil, I'll usually go into Christopher's office to say good morning to him. He starts his days earlier than I do, so he's usually already hard at work. But then after a few minutes, I'll come back to the kitchen to finish making my tea, and usually by this time, the water will have finished boiling. So I'll get at my French press then and select my tea of choice for the day. One of my favorite teas at this time of year is this cinnamon rooibos chai. It's a red tea that has this really warming and delicious flavor to it, and to me, it feels just perfect for this time of year. Brewing loose leaf tea in a French press was a trick that I learned at a coffee shop a few years back, and it really does work so well. In just a few minutes, it makes a perfectly brewed tea. And then as the finishing touch, I'll pour in the steamed oat milk to top off my tea. Then I'll move into the living room, turning on our lamp if it's a dark gray day like this one was, and then get out my books to begin my quiet time. This is my favorite part of the morning as it allows me to get cozy and really just enjoy a slow, quiet time as I wake up and just prepare mentally for the day. I'll start out by reading some of the Bible, and right now I'm in the book of James. Recently, I've been using this illuminated scripture journal to really be able to reflect more on what I've been reading. Next to the scripture, it has a really cool open notes section. And especially for a very visual person like myself, I found it really helpful to be able to kind of reflect and process what I've read. After spending a few minutes on that though, I'll next move on to a quick time of meditation. I started using the Headspace app recently, and I found it to be a helpful tool to really quiet the mind and really just learn to be present in the moment. That's something I've often struggled with in the past, so taking a few moments to be really intentional about that I found to be really helpful. But then once my meditation is over, my tea is usually finally cooled to this point where I'm able to drink it, and I'll move on just to a bit of fun time where I can enjoy a good book. Where the last few habits are really about taking care of my mental and spiritual health, reading novels is purely fun for me. I'm reading through The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes right now, and it's a real page turner. I've had a hard time putting it down. But of course, after a few minutes of reading, I do need to put it down and continue on with the rest of my morning. So I'll put a bookmark in and save it for a later time, and then go back to the kitchen to prepare some breakfast. I've been on a real kick of making homemade fresh bread recently, and so my go-to breakfast has been to make avocado toast with it. So I'll just slice off a piece of bread and put it in our toaster oven to warm it up, and then cut an avocado into slices to spread over the toast. And while I do that, I'll just leave on a couple sunny side up eggs to cook. And once the bread is warmed up, I'll put on just a little bit of butter, spread out the avocado on the toast, and then slide the ready eggs off the pan. Honestly, I find it so satisfying. And then I'll finish it up just by grinding some salt and pepper onto them. And then I'll sit down for a few minutes to enjoy breakfast at our island. What you might have noticed is that to this point, my morning routine is pretty absent of my phone, apart from checking the weather when I first wake up. And I really do like to try starting my mornings relatively free from screen time. But while I eat breakfast is usually the time that I'll allow myself to get caught up on any text messages from the previous night or check Instagram or anything like that. And then once I finish up my breakfast, I'll bring my dishes over to the sink and wash any dishes that I dirtied. I find that cleaning dishes as I dirty them makes them a lot more manageable throughout the day. But then after that, I'll pour some more oat milk in to be frothed and begin my final preparations for the workday. I love making the work experience as cozy as possible, so I'll pour another cup of tea and then refill this glass water bottle. Staying hydrated is really important to me, so I try to start off each workday with a full glass of water. And then of course to refill it throughout the day. And then once my oat milk is ready, I'll pour that out and then bring it back to the island where I'll begin planning out my workday. I use my bullet journal to organize really my entire life, but especially each work day. Typically, the night before, I'll have written down my goals for the day at hand, but I always like to review it quickly and make any additions or adjustments necessary. This time also helps to remind me of what my goals are and what I want to accomplish that day. This only takes a few minutes though, and once I'm done, I'll move to my office and get ready to work. I'll bring in anything that I need and then spend a minute or two really making for a cozy atmosphere by lighting a candle and turning on my space heater. It can be pretty dark and cold at this time of year, so this just makes the space feel nice and cozy. At this point though, I'm ready to begin working, so I'll open my laptop and begin my day. So that's what my mornings have looked like lately, and each of these habits, both great and small, really do help me feel more prepared for each day, mentally, physically, and emotionally. I hope you guys enjoyed this video though, and if you did, I would love to know what your morning routine personally looks like. Be sure to comment that down below, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already for more videos on simple and intentional living. That's everything for today's video though. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.